With the Detroit Lions' loss against the Buffalo Bills and now mounting even more injuries, many people are now starting to doubt whether or not the Lions will even have what it takes to get to a conference championship game, let alone to a Super Bowl. Are they right? We're going to talk about it, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. Folks, I'm going to tell you something right now. When it comes to the Detroit Lions, I have been watching them long enough to know that we as a fan base, we never like losing. We detest losing. I don't know too many fans that actually are okay with losing. But the one thing I will say, though, about us Lions fans is that whenever we do lose, it always seems like we take this attitude that the entire world is kind of falling apart or things are just absolutely going all haywire and wrong. Now, I will admit, ever since about 2022, that's kind of changed a little bit. It's like, hey, you know what? We've kind of come to adapt a little bit better about how when we lose, it's not necessarily the end of the world. But as we stand right now, that's not the case. And obviously, there's more going into this whole particular equation than just the fact that the Lions lost against the Bills. It's one, how we lost, but also two, who we've lost. Again, that right there is probably the two main components as to why a lot of Lions fans and a lot of rival fans and why a lot of media commentators are having the viewpoint that they're having. And unfortunately, now that the Lions have lost, and now that you have all this stuff coming out, it's very hard for some people to shut out all that nonsense and just simply say, okay, let's take a look at what we're actually dealing with here. Let's take a look at what we know. Let's take a look at what we have. Because, as we all know, as soon as the Lions, clocks hit 0-0 on the whole thing, game was over, Lions had lost, everybody and their brother all of a sudden now wanted to start saying, oh, see, the Lions, they're not invincible. Oh, they can be beat. Blah, 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 blah. And then now there's people out there saying that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. And it's like, okay here. Let's back up for just half a second here. Let's just back up. First and foremost, to anybody that wanted to get the notion, to get the idea that the Lions were somehow infallible, that they could not lose, they could not be beaten, that somehow that they were, absolutely perfect. Let me remind you all something here. Going into the game last night against the freaking Bills, were we or were we not 12-1? I don't recall us being 13-0. I don't recall us even being, in that conversation. Reason why is because in week 2 we lost our first game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this whole idea that we were infallible, that we couldn't lose already was extremely wrong because it's already happened. It happened in the second week of the season. So that's number one. Number two, this idea that people wanted to say that, oh, you know what, because the Lions are the supposed Super Bowl favorites, blah, 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 and all this nonsense from the NFC, that, you know what, if they stumble, if they lose, that all of a sudden that's going to somehow be an impact on their ability to win a Super Bowl. Okay, says who? And those that do say it, I'd like to know what authority they go by. Because let me put something out here for you. Apart from the 1972 Dolphins, no team has won the Super Bowl and had a perfect record. And if we want to be entirely honest with ourselves, there's always been a game or two in every sinking year where for most teams, they're going to have games like what we had happen to us last night. It's like, hey, you know what? Things just did not go your way. You needed a lot of things to go your way, and a lot of things didn't. So, okay, here. Let's think about this. What are the Lions currently right now? They're 12-2. They have the best divisional record in the NFC North. Again, pending upon what happens tonight with the Bears and the Vikings game. They are tied for the best record in the NFC Conference, but they hold the tiebreaker over the Eagles because we have the better conference record. So, as it currently stands, nothing has changed as far as the actual Lions' positional value in terms of either the division or in terms of the conference. Because, again, let's keep this in perspective. If the freaking Vikings do win tonight against the Bears, which there is a possibility of that, but if they somehow manage to win, that doesn't really change anything. You want to know why it doesn't change anything? Because even though then the Vikings will have the same record that we do, we still have the better divisional record because, oh, that's right. We have beaten the Bears, we have beaten the Packers twice, and we've also beaten the Vikings. We are 4-0 in the division. The Vikings are not. So because we have the better divisional record, that's what keeps us in front of the Vikings. So, yeah, we lost. It sucks that we lost. But if we want to be honest with ourselves here, nothing really changes about our standing in current where we're at. We still have the best record in the NFC. We still have the best record in the NFC North. And for those that want to all of a sudden now think that we're no longer a Super Bowl team because of one loss against, oh, might I add, a other Super Bowl contending team in the Bills, those people are idiots. They are delusional idiots. If you're going to all of a sudden now tell me that because we lost to the Bills, by 6 points, mind you, that all of a sudden disqualifies us as a Super Bowl candidate, I would tell them that you're an idiot. You're a hell of an idiot. Because that's not the way that works. You want to know why it's not the way that works? Okay. Let's put this into perspective, folks. Yes, we lost against the Bills. We lost 48-42. But let me, kind of put something into the proper context here. The Bills had their full ensemble offense. Think about that. They had their full ensemble offense. They had Cooper, they had Shakir, they had Coleman, they were able to get back their tight end, freaking Kincaid, they had their running backs, they had Josh Allen, they had their full ensemble offense. They were going up against our defense, which going into that game last night had, 13 players on IR? And now, after the game last night, it's up to 16. Well, correct me if I'm wrong here, but every single unit on the football field has to have 11 starting personnel. 11. So we have more players going into the game and coming out of the game on IR from the defense than we have an entire whole defensive unit. And it's not like we're missing just, these role types of players. We're missing key players. We're missing Hutch, we're missing Kaminsky, we're missing Rodrigo, we're missing Anzalone, we're missing Barnes, we're missing Melifonwu, Rakestraw. I mean, the list just goes da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's a long-ass list. But the reason why I bring that list up is this very point. Yeah, our defense gave up 48 points against the Bills. But let's keep something on the flip side here. Despite that, we still were in a position to where we could win the game because, as we have already known, I have stated it, and until I've been blue in the face, there is no game that is ever truly out of reach for us as long as Goff is back there slinging the ball. You want a perfect example of how no game is out of reach? The game we saw last night against the Bills is literal quintessential perfect proof that that's the case. Goff literally was the only thing that kept that game looking respectable for us. And he literally should, even though we didn't win the game, he should get all the credit there is for, in essence, trying to put the team on his back to win the game. Because he literally gave a Herculean effort and came this damn close to making it work. So for me, it's like, okay, you consider all these points. You take a look at all of the facts on that front. The fact that the Bills, barely won against us, even with a freaking, hodgepodge patchwork of a defense, because our offense is that damn powerful, we were still able to come this damn close to winning. Now, some people might say that's an irrelevant point. It's not an irrelevant point, and I'll tell you why it's not an irrelevant point. Because the point I'm making about our offense in terms of how the fact we almost won, even though we were in defeat, is the exact same point that Colin Cowherd made about the Bills this morning. He wanted to say, oh yeah, you know what? You gave up 42 points, and he's like, doesn't really matter because so long as you got Josh Allen back there, you're still going to win. Well, here's the thing, folks. The Lions, let's call it for what it is. They have got an offense that I don't care who you are most likely not going to slow them down. We have way too many weapons. Even though we've lost now David Montgomery with an MCL, injury. Don't know what the severity of it is, but it's enough for it to have him require surgery. We still have Sam Laporta. We still have, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tim Patrick, Jamison Williams. We're also now going to get a chance to see a little bit of Sione Vaki. We still have Jared Goff. We still have our offensive line. We are still a powerful offense. Yes, it does suck that we're going to lose out on Knuckles for the rest of the year. But our offense is more than capable of picking up the slack. But here's the other point, and this is where I know a lot of Lions fans, how should I put this? Not all Lions fans are like this, because I know some aren't. But there are some Lions fans out there that their faith is beginning to waver. Their faith is beginning to show doubt. And the reason why is because of the injuries. And you know what? I can understand where they're coming from. It's hard to believe that everything right now, in the darkest moment that you are in, that everything's going to all of a sudden now turn into a sunshine and rainbow picture, and now you're going to be in a good position. It's hard to envision that. But again, I take you back to what Dan Campbell said in his presser earlier today. It's like, listen, we have options. It's not like the Lions have literally no options to try and make sure that they can field an appropriate team. And let's also understand something here. The Lions are getting players back, and they're going to be getting them back relatively soon. We just literally heard from Dan Campbell that they're starting the clock on Ife Melifonwu. If we're able to put Ife Melifonwu back there in the safety area, we can then move Branch down to cornerback. So now all of a sudden we're good on that front again. Or vice versa. And still, we've also got Alex Anzalone that's going to be coming back probably for the last week of the season, maybe going into the playoffs. Who knows? And again, we also could potentially get back Kaminsky. We are also most likely going to get back Hutch if we get to the NFC Conference Championship game. There's no reason right now to start panicking. I know that's what everybody's initial reaction is going to be, that, oh, we need to panic because we just lost a big game and we've got all these injuries. Okay, folks, injuries, I get. They're important, they're big, they're not something you can just completely throw out the window. But let me put this out there as bluntly, as straightforwardly as I can. Have we or have we not learned anything about this damn team, about this damn culture, about this damn head coach, that it does not matter who's injured or who's not injured? We can find ways to win regardless of it. Again, I take you guys back to the whole point that, go back to the very beginning of when we started this whole process with Campbell as the head coach. We literally started with nothing. I mean it, literally nothing. We had nothing to work with when he came here. And over the periods of time that we have now come to this point in 2024, we have gone from having absolutely nothing in 2021 to a Super Bowl contending roster in 4 years. That's impressive. That tells me that, hey, are the injuries big? Yes, they are. But do not, under any circumstances, ever count out this team or count out our ability to win games. This is a team that has a never say die attitude. They do not quit. And you should have seen that in perfect display last night against the Bills. We were down 21 points at some point, or 18 points. I don't know what it was, but we were down by 3 scores at one point. And the Lions kept fighting. They kept fighting to try and win the game. Most teams, when you're down by 18, 21 points, yeah, they're going to pack it in and say, that's it, we're done for the day. We're not going to win this. Lions were like, screw that. We are still going to keep coming. We are still going to keep coming after you to try and win this game. And you saw the effort. You saw the tenacity. You saw the hurry that was in these Lions. Like, dude, we need to keep going after them as much as we can. And we came that damn close. That damn close. And if you think about it, let's just put this into the proper perspective here. I know I harped on the defense a lot earlier today. Not going to change that. But let's just say, hypothetically, that the defense makes all the mistakes that it made prior to this point. That the defense had everything that happened last night stay happen. Let's then think about this. What then do you say if Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't fumble that ball? And then all of a sudden we continue on down the field, we score a touchdown there. What do you say if Jake Bates doesn't shank that field goal from 52 yards and it goes in? Now all of a sudden, instead of talking about losing by 6 points, you're talking about winning by 4. That's what I'm trying to get across to y'all here. Did we lose? Yes, we lost. It's painful. It hurts. I get it. I feel it. I understand it. And it hurts losing great players like McNeil, like, freaking David Montgomery and all these other guys that we've lost. I get it. It hurts. But you have to step back for half a second and realize, okay, here, let's be objective and let's take a look at the larger picture for what it truly is. Are the Lions done in their quest for a Super Bowl? Not by a damn long shot. So this idea that we have no shot of now winning the Super Bowl, that it's impossible for us to go and win a Super Bowl, I don't care who I don't care who's thinking that. I don't care what anyone's saying. You're talking out your ass if you start talking that way. With this team, this culture, this head coach, that is never off the table. I don't care what you want to tell me. So for me, as long as this team is continuing to play the way that it's playing, we will be fine. Because again, the defense played as bad as we've probably seen it play in a while. But despite how bad the defense played, like I said, Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't fumble that ball. Jake Bates doesn't shank that field goal. We could have still won the game. That's the difference. Even with Campbell's folly, we could have still won the game. But if you now have that touchdown and that field goal in there, then maybe Campbell doesn't feel the idea to go for that freaking onside kick. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Yes, I know it hurts right now in the immediate aftermath, but that's the recency bias speaking in. Give it some time and let's let things kind of, back off for a minute and let's see where we stand in about a week from now. Because let's understand something here. Let's say we go into Chicago. We get the win there. And then all of a sudden, now it's like, hey, we've got another win. Oh, we've got Melifonwu back. We've got Rakestraw back. We're now starting to hear about, hey, Alex Anzalone's coming right back around the corner. Now, all of a sudden, it doesn't look so dark and damn gloomy. Now it looks like, okay, we've got something working here. It's not the end for us. It's that damn recency bias and the ability to work through it and think through it. It's very difficult. But that's what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get people to realize the recency bias and all this freaking fluff noise that's coming from all the rival fan bases and all the commentators. Shut them the hell out and shut them the hell up. They don't matter for crap anyway. They're going to say whatever the hell they want to say to try and put us down. And you know what? Let them. Because all that's going to do is going to give us the ammo for when it's their time to eat humble pie again and be like, oh, I thought you said you guys were something. I thought you said we were washed up. But yet, look where we're at right now. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand here. It sucks, but we have to keep moving forward, and it's best to move forward with a positive attitude rather than this defeatist mindset that I'm hearing out of Lions fans because, oh my God, the world's falling apart. The world's not falling apart. There's no reason to push the panic button. There's no reason to wave a white flag. There's no reason to be losing our literal crap. RELAX, folks. Relax. You trusted Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes to get you to this point in the dance. Continue to trust them. They clearly know what's going on with this team. They clearly believe in this team, and this team clearly believes in them. That's all you need right now. Trust them to do the job that they're doing. I do. You should as well. Anyway, having said that, I'm going to end this episode and say thank you all for watching another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these three things: like, comment, and subscribe. If by chance you subscribed in the past, I want to highly encourage y'all, if you have not done so yet, make sure you please hit that bell notification icon so that way you guys never miss any more content I push out. Also want to encourage y'all please to share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Share here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Share it wherever and anywhere you possibly can. The more we can do that, the greater the channel can grow and spread. And with that being said, to everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope you all got something out of this content, whether it was something that you liked or that it gave you some hope. Please do not let people steal your hope. Please do not let people steal your joy. Again, make sure you have something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless, my friends. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.